Welcome to the Exposure Magazine podcast from the heart of the British nuclear test survivor community.
Welcome to this episode of the Exposure Magazine podcast. I'm your host, and today we are looking at VALOUR. It's a £50 million initiative designed to transform how we support those who served. We're looking at a shift, moving away from a maze of charities toward a single, unified network. To understand how we fix the system, we must first look at the invisible wounds of the fragmented reality our veterans face every day. For generations, the concept of service has been a simple, if solemn, trade. A soldier gives their youth, their strength, and their safety to the nation. In return, the nation promises a duty of care. But for many of our elderly veterans, the reality of navigating that care has become an exhausting second battle. Today, support in the UK is often described as a postcode patchwork. It's a fragmented system where the help you receive depends less on what you did and more on where you happen to live. It is a perfect storm of challenges, declining health, isolation, and a care system that feels increasingly out of reach. But a new initiative aims to fundamentally change that narrative. The fragmented reality. The statistics are, quite frankly, sobering. When we look at the adult ex-service community, nearly 500,000 individuals are living with depression. 370,000 report a profound sense of loneliness. These aren't just figures on a ledger. They represent a generation of men and women feeling increasingly isolated in their twilight years. It's the physical toll that often speaks the loudest, the creaking joints and the heavy fatigue of those who once marched for miles without a second thought. Over 700,000 veterans struggle with basic self-care, hampered by chronic pain and exhaustion. For those over 80, these issues don't just exist in isolation, they cascade. And then there's the digital divide. We live in an age where the gateway to healthcare is found behind a screen. Yet, more than 2 million of our elders, those aged 65 and over, have never even used the internet. We have a generation that served in an analog age, now being asked to navigate a digital world to find the help they've earned. It creates a barrier to basic dignity. So, how does a nation fix a system that has become a maze? The VALOUR initiative. The answer, the government hopes, is VALOUR. Overseen by the Office for Veterans Affairs, this £50 million programme is more than just a funding stream. It's a fulfilment of the Armed Forces Covenant. The goal is simple: to ensure veterans aren't disadvantaged in accessing support due to their service. The mechanism for this change is a UK-wide network of recognised support centres. But the real boots on the ground are the regional field officers. These officers act as the glue, uniting local government, service providers and charities to create a seamless experience, giving veterans confidence in local support. We see this in action with a pilot programme in Northern England, which uses data to direct resources precisely where needed, avoiding administrative silos and ensuring veterans get timely support. But this isn't just about throwing money at the problem, it's about responsible stewardship. The programme benchmarks against economic options to ensure funds help the maximum number of people. It's a rigorous, strategic shift. However, the system doesn't just need to be more efficient, it needs to be more proactive in reaching those who have slipped through the cracks. The hidden and the nuclear survivor community. One of the most vital aspects of VALOUR is its focus on the hidden veteran. These are individuals who've withdrawn from help or are experiencing homelessness, and they need to feel that their service and struggles are recognised and supported. For the nuclear survivor community, this sense of being forgotten is particularly acute. To understand why, you have to look back to 1957. Imagine the Pacific heat of Christmas Island. A young man in the Royal Navy, John Matthews, witnesses the unimaginable scale of a nuclear detonation, the blinding flash that stays with you forever. For men like John, the service didn't end when they left the Pacific. It lived on through radiological exposure, chronic skin conditions, and cataracts. There's an intergenerational trauma here too. Descendants report higher rates of autoimmune conditions. This community requires a specialised medical understanding that many GPs are not equipped to provide. Activity, refocus and engagement. The community care check delivered a stark wake-up call. Its findings left the NCCF with no room for hesitation. The organisation had to fundamentally shift its approach, moving away from a reactive model and committing fully to proactive outreach. That meant a difficult decision, significantly increasing operational costs to recruit, develop, and deploy a national network of outreach facilitators. It wasn't a choice made lightly, but it was the right one. Enter VALOUR. More than a program, VALOUR represents a bellwether moment for how essential veteran outreach can and should be delivered. Its regional structure provides genuine national coverage, meaning that from a single point of coordination, boots can be on the ground wherever they're needed most. Not in offices, not behind phone lines, directly in the homes of the people who need support. What makes VALOUR truly significant is its capacity to integrate charitable provision across regions, creating a powerful synergy between organisations. The result is a wider, more cohesive scope of support, delivered locally, where it matters. NCCF Chairman Ian Hall put it plainly: VALOUR could not have been launched at a more advantageous time for our veterans, and the NCCF is fully committed to supporting it. In reflection, as we look toward the future, the success of VALOUR will be measured by 3 pillars: a unified support network, proactive reach to veterans in crisis, and specialised care for the nuclear community through the Ground Zero grants. We must remember that for our veterans over 80, time is not a luxury. We're talking about the final years of a generation that stood at the front lines of the 20th century's most critical moments. Ultimately, how we treat our oldest heroes is a measure of our national character. It's a test of whether we can truly match our words with our actions. If you're a veteran or a family member facing a care funding gap, don't wait. Reach out. These programs were created for you. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Exposure Magazine podcast. We'll be back next time with more stories from the heart of our community. This has been an Exposure Magazine production. Until next time.
Thank you for joining us today as we bring Exposure Magazine to life. Like, subscribe and share for more great podcasts.